For the first time all season, I got more predictions wrong than I got right. I went 5-6 this week. And I want to analyze every single game. We'll start with the ones I got right. Cincinnati was an obvious choice because they were playing a Philadelphia team that just can't seem to win anything. I went with Denver because they've been beating everyone while Baltimore has barely been holding on to their division lead. I went with Green Bay over Chicago because I chose the better QB. I went with Minnesota because, well, Adrian Peterson's a beast. I chose New Orleans to beat Tampa because Tampa hasn't been playing as well lately while New Orleans is finally starting to look like themselves again. And for the 6 games that I got wrong, I chose New York to beat Atlanta simply because I was looking at most recent performances, especially last week. And who'd have thought that Cousins, another rookie QB, would come in to start his first game and perform just as well as RG3. And I didn't choose Houston to lose. I chose Indianapolis to win just because I wanted to see that upset. Same thing with Seattle. And I chose the Steelers over the Cowboys just because the Cowboys have more than enough talent on their roster. They have not been winning on a consistent basis. And even though I wanted them to win, I was cheering for them the whole time. I figured that Big Ben would do what he does best. Turns out that Brandon Carr was money well spent. And I chose New England to win because of how they dismantled the Texans while the 49ers struggled against the Rams. But on Sunday, the 49ers defense proved that they are the truth, while Kaepernick, whatever, showed us what Coach Haurbaugh saw in him. The playoff picture, it keeps shaking a little bit. In the AFC, the Texans, Broncos, and Patriots, they already have their divisions locked up, and they're just fighting for that first round bye right now. Meanwhile, the Ravens, they have clinched the playoff berth. They are in. But the division is still up for grabs as long as the Ravens keep losing. The Steelers' loss knocks them out of the playoffs, while the Bengals' win puts them 1 game behind the Ravens for the division lead. But if the Ravens just win out, they get the division. If the Bengals get more wins than the Ravens, then the Bengals can take the division. However, if the Ravens and Bengals both lose all of their games and the Steelers win the next 2, they could possibly take the division. I mean, it's still wide open. And meanwhile, in the NFC, the Packers and Falcons have now locked up the division, and the 49ers have clinched the playoff berth. The Bears' loss takes them out of the playoffs, while the Seahawks and Vikings wins put them in the wild card spots. But the NFC East is once again the greatest division in the league. The Giants lost while the Cowboys and Redskins won. There is now a 3-way tie for the division title. Let me break down the scenarios for you. New York split their matchups with both the Cowboys and the Redskins, but the Giants lost their first game to the Eagles while the Cowboys and Redskins are both undefeated against the Eagles. The Giants have the worst division record, and the Redskins and Cowboys play each other in Week 17. So, if the Redskins win for every game for the rest of the season, they get the division. If the Cowboys win every game for the rest of the season, they get the division. If the Giants win every game for the rest of the division, they can get the division only if the Cowboys and Redskins split their final 2 games. And if they all win, the Redskins get it. But it's going to be an interesting week. And I'm not going to predict the Thursday game because there is no Thursday game. There is a Saturday game, so I'll just include that with the rest of my predictions. And there are less teams who are in playoff contention now, so I might be able to condense it into just one thing. And so yeah, until then, this has been the Fan's Perspective. I am your host, Nathan Nile. Happy Tuesday. Tune in Thursday for another edition of NBA Weekly.